Namaste. Those of you that usually take my Better Backs class, just a little warning, not a warning, it's not going to be a Better Backs class today. This is a little more of a flow, not a hardcore vinyasa, nothing like that. Just an opportunity for you to get your body moving. I do have a cat who tends to wander in and out as I'm doing this, so you'll probably see her eventually. And this will also not be a full hour, looking at about 40 minutes. And I'm finding that that's a good amount of time for people that are practicing right now. I think it's getting really hard for everybody. I hope that eventually the tide turns and that, right now we're in that kind of critical state where it's very hard, we're all afraid. Maybe over time we get a little more used to this and we ease into it. But with all of that said, let's just ease into this practice here. Just close your eyes. One of the absolute best things you can do to combat stress is a daily meditation practice. So many of us want to just kind of push against that, resist that willingness to just sit because it feels so uncomfortable, but it does get easier over time. Let that breath fill you up. A little different than a meditation where we might just be. This is a little more conscious attention to the breath. I really like taking circles. Try to imagine that you have like a pen glued to the very top of your head, and it's the point up, and it's going to start drawing a circle onto the ceiling. The circle is going to get bigger and become a spiral. Change the direction of that circle. Eventually bring that spiral right back to the center point. Let's just extend our right leg forward. Foot is flexed to start, sitting up tall, take an inhale. And then exhale, walk the hands forward, maybe taking a hold of the shin, the ankle, the foot. Draw out long. A lot of you know that I struggle with anxiety and depression, and that's definitely been an issue for me in this past week especially. It's kind of rearing its ugly head again. Trying to learn from it, trying to recognize the things that I need to be doing to waylay that. It's anxious time, when there's a lot of isolation, some of us don't have as much work. It can be a little tough. And inhale, just bring yourself back up. Place the left foot onto the mat. Cross your right leg over midline a little so you can actually step the left foot over. Take a little twist here. So you're taking your left hand behind you. Lift the spine, lengthen, and you can wrap this elbow around, maybe getting a hold here of the thigh, the hip to create a little more traction, if that's the word. And we're going to take the gaze back. Now, when you move that gaze back, it's not a cranking of the neck. It's turning from the upper body, and the head just kind of follows along. unwind. So some options here. You're welcome to just stack your left knee on top of your right like this, so you're keeping the bottom leg straight. You can slide this right foot in, moving more into a shoelace here. Or if that's just like none of those is working, just come to an easy seat Sukhasana with your right foot or left foot in front. Take an inhale. If you're good, staying lifted. If there's a lot of space between the knees, maybe folding forward isn't the right move for you here, but if you're okay folding forward, go ahead. If you fold it, come on back up. I'm going to kick up the heat just a little bit here, placing the feet back onto the mat. Now let's move it into a boat pose. Now your boat could very well be with the feet on the ground, the arms can stay at the side. You're working with a straight line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. So you're welcome to stay here or here. The feet might start to come up, maybe the legs straighten. Number of variations with the arms here as well. The arms can come up or even out into a T. How's your breath? Place the hands back behind the thighs, lower the feet. Let's take a seated child's, just rounding forward. And then coming on back up. We're going to slide the left leg forward now. Right foot's coming in. Move things around. Take that inhale, getting some length into the spine, and then not overdoing it here. We're just walking the hands forward. You might grab a hold of your foot, your ankle, your shin, and then come out long, round as much as you want on this one. It's your practice. There's nobody there to tell you exactly what to do except yourself. The elbows can be down on the earth or keep them floating if you want to keep it a little more active. And I just let my head hang here for a moment just to get some stretch into the back of the neck. Yourself up. I'm going to bring the right foot onto the mat. Now you can slide this left leg just across midline, cross the right foot over. And then sitting up really tall here, the right hand's moving behind you. Press up, wrapping the arm around. Some of you can take the elbow outside the knee, as long as that doesn't compromise your breath. Take the deep inhale here, and exhale, starting to gaze back. And here comes my cat. Turn that gaze back forward, unwind. And then again, you have some options here. You can just slide this right knee on top of the left, keeping that left leg straight. If you want a little more, slide the heel in. And if neither of those works for you, just go ahead and come back to an easy seat, this time with your right foot in front. Take an inhale. Now, you may very well be right here, just letting the weight of the hands move the knees closer together, or you're going to fold forward if that's in your practice. to zip over to my computer real quick. And from here, we are going to, sorry about that. From here, we are going to take the foot back out. We're sitting up tall, and we're going to move back into that boat pose again, just getting things a little more fired up. So any variation, remember the feet can be down here as well. Good, and then you'll place your feet down carefully. This time we'll take it into, before we take our seated childs, we're going to go into a reverse table. Just finding a little counter pose there, so just lifting the heart, float the hips up. And the chin comes into the chest. If the head allows, you can take your head back. The neck might not like this. Good. And then come on down, and then as promised, that little seated child's here for just a moment. Good. Let's come on up. We're going to take it now into a table. Coming to hands and knees. Situate the hands, fingers are spread wide. We'll just start with some regular old cat and cow here, following the breath. And then I'm going to offer up a way to make this a little more, add a little more movement. Take it or leave it. So either stay with this or walk your hands forward just a little bit. And the next time that you're rounding, tuck the hips back towards the heels. As you're inhaling, come forward. And then as you exhale, as you come into that cat pose or cow pose, a little bend into the elbows, maybe a deep bend. You're coming down more into a cobra, low cobra, or high cobra. And we're going to rise back up. Exhale, slide it back. So that's another option. Remember, staying with cat and cow. Perfectly viable. Now, there is a third. There's probably many more. But I will offer a third option if you are so inclined. If you are working to build a little upper body strength here, rather than letting the chest or the hips come down first, bend the elbows and then sweep the chest through. Come into that low or high cobra and slide back. So again, that third variation, you bend the elbows and then drop the thighs, drop the hips, sweep up and slide it back. Just move through a few more, finding your expression. Take it as slowly as you want. It doesn't have to be one movement, one breath. Find the moving meditation here. Last one. Finding your back bend here now. So you might even be in an upward dog if you want, coming off the knees. You can be down on the knees, down on the hips, or maybe you want to just slide it right into a Sphinx pose here. Right? Different time of day. If you're doing this later in the day, this full cobra might be great. This Sphinx pose probably more ideal if you're just waking up. Lower down just long enough to press up and back. We're taking it to child's pose. Take some deep breaths into that back body. Round your spine with the depth of your breath, right? As weird as that might sound. And we'll find our way up to table. And then from here, we're going to curl the toes, lift the hips. Let's move it back to downward facing dog. Lift up onto the toes. A little strengthening exercise here if you want. Bend the knees and let the heels or the knees come down towards the earth, but not landing them. And then stretch it back long. Take a look up to the hands, walk or step or jump the feet forward, come up halfway. So ideally you're working to jump right into this Ardha Uttanasana. This is from the Ashtanga practice. Certainly don't have to do it that way. Exhale, fold it in. Let's take a few of those. Just inhale, length. Now your hands might be here or here as you come to that flat back. And exhale, fold. Another option would be to kick it up a little more. You can take the arms back behind you as you come up halfway and fold. And another option, one that I'm not crazy about, but you're more than welcome to do, is taking the arms forward. A little more strain on the back. So if you have back issues, you may want to avoid that one. Just find a variation that's right for you. Now on the inhale, we're going to put a little bend to the knees. Roll it up, one vertebra at a time, all the way to standing. Samastiti. Arms can be at the sides or palms at the heart. Take a moment now. Feel those feet, all four corners of each foot rooted to the earth. The arms down. Let's move through a Surya A. Inhale, stretch the arms up, gaze up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, come on up halfway. Good. On this first one, if you want to jump back, you're welcome to. Otherwise, stepping back into a plank. Use that next exhale to lower Chaturanga. This can be done on the knees as you work to build that strength. And then inhale, coming up into your upward dog or a cobra. I'm in a low cobra here, or a high cobra. Curl the toes, lift the hips, move it up and back, downward facing dog. Take a look up to your hands. Walk or step or jump the feet forward, coming up to that halfway point, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale, now circle around up and flat back this time as you stretch the arms up. Exhale, lower down. Good, second set. We'll go a little faster this time. Keep it slow if you wish. Arms up on the inhale. Exhale and fold. Inhale to lengthen. Good, now I'll show you the jump back right into Chaturanga this time if you want. So you're planting the hands, and the idea is to jump and be right in that Chaturanga, elbows bent, right? Instead of jumping back with straight arms, a little jarring on the shoulders. And then you move into your upward dog here, roll over the toes, and there's your downward dog. So again, you modify, do what you need to do. I will show you everything that you need to see. Look up to the hands. Walk, step, or jump. The feet forward. Come up halfway. Exhale. Fold in. And I got inhale. Flat back. Brings you all the way up. And I got arms to the sides or palms to the heart. We're just going to take one more. We'll stay in the downward dog. Once you get there, inhale. Sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold. Come up halfway, get some length. Exhale, moving through your variation. Eventually to that upward back bend to the downward dog. Let's lift the right leg now. Stretch it up, bend the knee, stack the hips, circle the ankle around. Now square those hips back off behind you, and we're going to float the right leg straight out to the right. Swing the leg back out behind you. let's step it forward between the hands. Turn this down a little bit. Now you got that right foot right between the hands. And we're going to start to do a little lunging action here. So this is the tendency, is to do this kind of thing. What I want more to theoretically see is to take the slide forward. So I'm really engaging in this back inner thigh on the left leg, and then come back. So it's a little more of a forward and backward movement rather than an up and down movement. Control. There's going to be some up and down, of course. The whole time keeping that heart forward. We're going to come back into that low lunge here for a moment. Staying really grounded, let's place the hands up onto the thigh here. You can keep the hands down as well if you wish. I'm a little wobbly today. You've got that back leg strong, really rooting through the foot. If you so choose, arms can come up. Good. Let's bring the palms to the heart center. You're going to turn all the way to your right so that the left elbow is going to move onto that right thigh. Good. Now, fun part, coming back up from there. Good. Bring the hands to the hips, shift the weight into this right foot. And let's take off. We're going to move it into a warrior 3, flying here. Now, your hands might want to move elsewhere, so if you don't want them on the hips, palms can be at the heart, or the arms can come out like airplane wings. Again, bringing them forward, another option. Now watch that this left foot, your left toes haven't turned off to the side. Toes are straight down here. Put a bend into that right knee. We're going to step that left foot all the way back. Take the left hand down. Let's move it into a twist now. So you can be on the block here as well. Make sure you have those around if that's helpful for you. Right arm's going to float up. Take a look down now. The right hand's going to come down. And this one's for my friend Vicky. She requested this. So we're going to walk the hands up, and we're moving it into a half moon from here. Stacking left hip on top of the right. Left arm's lifting. Now maybe you want to put a bend into the left knee. Maybe you don't. And your gaze can start to shift up towards the ceiling. Take the leg out of the bind if you still have it there. We're going to release that left hand down. So now we're in a standing splits. Left leg maybe lifting up a little higher here as the body walks closer to the leg. And then let's tuck that left knee behind the right, and we'll just come into a little curtsy twist. That's one option, with the left hand staying down, right arm coming up, or both hands can come away from the earth into a prayer. Release the hands down. Go ahead and straighten that right leg as you step the left foot back. We're going to lower down to the left knee. And we're going to walk the hands to the inside of the right foot. Now you might want to walk that right foot out a little bit. I'll show you from this angle. So this right foot can be somewhat turned out. You might even take the knee a little bit off to the side. If you want to slide the left leg back, come down a little more, you get to play with this. Just bringing it back to the earth for a few moments. How's that breath? Good, now you're gonna start to come up from this position. We're gonna curl, this is where it gets a little silly and a little playful. Don't feel like you have to do any of this. We're gonna curl those left toes under. You can start to walk this right foot up a little more. This is just for some of you that wanna play with some arm balance. We're gonna slide this right arm underneath, so you're getting your shoulder as close as you can underneath that right knee. And then maybe from here, you start to straighten that right leg. Put a little bend in the left elbow, and maybe even float the left leg up. Right? If you're laughing hilariously right now, then it's probably not the right move for you. We're just going to eventually find our way back to plank. Come down onto your knees, and let's slide it back to more like a baby pose. So the feet and the knees more parallel rather than wide. And then sink back here. Okay, coming on up, we have the whole other side now. So let's find our way back to that table. I want to take some circles here. Get into that right hip a little bit, or release it, I guess really is more the idea here. Right, really in all aspects of our life, all times of our life, remembering what we have, what to be grateful for, is important. It is crucial right now. So really try not to lose sight of that. If you need to write it down every day, write it down. We're going to curl those toes, lift the hips, take it up and back. And then lift the left leg, take it up nice and high. You can bend the knees, stack the hips. Left on top of right, circle into that ankle, foot and toes. Good, legs coming back out long. So here's that weird one where we're going to take that left leg and maybe you're floating it straight out to the side. Good, slide it back out behind you. And then we're going to step it forward between the hands. So we're in the low lunge now. You'll see on me this side's a little tighter. I don't have quite as much room to play with. So don't worry if you're different from side to side. We all are. I'm just going to start to go forward and backward here. And there, yes, a little up and down, but less up and down and more forward and backward. Keep the gaze forward, kind of out in front of your toes. And then back here in this lunge. That's good. Stay here. If you want to take the hands up onto the thigh, we're going to start to make our way up into this Crescent Warrior. Maybe the arms sweep up now. Let's bring those palms down to the heart center. We're going to move it into a prayer twist. So you're turning to the left to bring that right elbow towards the left thigh. Palms to the heart, as much as they'll go there. That's going to lengthen the spine. Gaze can move up. And then coming back up. Let's bring the hands to the hips, or maybe you have a different place. You know we're switching, or maybe you don't, but if you remember, we're launching into this Warrior 3 now. Your right toes are staying down rather than turning out. So rather than the right hip stacking, it is right in line with the left. Palms maybe to the heart here. Wherever you want your arms. Good. And then step that right foot back, land back into your crescent. And then we'll take the twist. So now the right hand's coming down. Left arm is lifted. Good. And then we're going to move into that half moon from here. So we're going to take the left hand down, float the right leg and right arm up. If you look down along your body, you should be able to see those right toes so that your leg isn't so far back. Now, right hand's coming down, standing splits. Right leg might come up a little more. Then we're going to tuck the knee behind. So you have the option to take this to a twist by taking the left arm up, or a little more of a balance, both hands to the heart. And releasing the hands down. We're going to step that right foot all the way back. Good, and then the hands are coming inside the foot. So you have those options here. Your left foot might be walking off to the side, back to center. Forearms, or sliding that left leg back. So notice if you're binding, if you're grabbing, clenching, if you're digging your fingernails into your mat or wherever you are, clenching your jaws. Good, come on up. So we've got that strange transition again. If you want it, if you already just were thinking the first side was ridiculous, you can skip it. We're going to move it to a plank and then back down into a child's pose. Those of you wanting to work on this arm balance or even just a little different stretch, tucking the left shoulder under the left knee, curl onto the ball of the right foot. Now straightening that left leg as much as it will come straight, maybe a little bend into the right elbow and float the right leg up. Good, and then from there, step it back. Good. And again, we'll move it back if you're not already there, going into that baby pose with the feet closer together, or if you want a child's pose this time, take it. Come on up to table. I'm just going to do one little quick thing in standing here. You're going to curl the toes, but here is for the purpose of rolling up onto the feet and straightening the legs into a standing forward fold. We're going to take a bend into the knees, roll it up from here. And then here, so kind of move towards the top of your mat. You're going to take a big step. I'm going to mirror you guys with your right foot. So you'll be coming to a wide angle. Now turn that right foot off towards the back of the mat. Bend your right knee. Well, let's just take it into a warrior two. And we're going to just move back and forth here. A little bit of a reverse, not going full into it, and not going full into the side angle either, just stretching. Now, if you want to add in some fancy arm work here, you can sweep the arms in front of you as they transition. So when the right arm comes overhead, it circles in front of the face and then lands down onto the right leg. Left arm sweeps up and over, circles in front of the head, and lands back behind you. If the choreography is messing up the flow here, leave it out. Last one. We're going to hold into this side angle. Now, if you want to take it a little more, you're welcome to. Maybe some of you are even going to go for the bind here. I am not today. Looking up, reach with this left arm like you're trying to touch something. Inhale, we're going to rise it back up. Turn all 10 toes to the long edge of the mat. Roll the shoulders back. Keep your hands on your hips as we take this fold. So rather than letting the hands do the work here, just using the strength of the core to fold. And rising back up. We're going to take the arms out to a T. Now those left toes are going to turn, bending into the left knee. We've got this warrior two. And then we have sliding back and forth here. Now if you want to add in the arm, left arm circles in front of the face, lands back down on the leg. Right arm comes up and back, circles in front of the face. Here's my other cat. And slides back. And then the next time that you're coming into that side angle, find your expression. Remember that you're not plunging onto this right thigh. There is an ability to lift here. You should be able to take that arm away from the leg. Inhale, we're going to rise back up. Turn all 10 toes forward. Hi. Interlock the fingers. Roll the shoulders back. Let's get into the shoulders on this one. You guys hear me say this a lot. If you always put the same fingers on top when you bind, switch them. Give it a shot. Take the inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Release that bind. Placing the hands down to the earth. Let's just bend into the right knee for a moment, not all the way into that full side squat, just a gentle stretch here. Come back to center, take it over to the left. And then back to center. As you take it to the right, we're gonna walk the hands back to the top of the mat, lower down to that left knee, bring the right knee back, and come on through to seated. Just a little more work in the shoulders here. And then you'll be just about done. Let's take some eagle arms today. We're going to bring the arms out wide. You're going to cross your right arm on top. If you want to wrap around at the elbows, feel free. That might not be there for you. It might look more like this or even this. So wherever you are, totally kosher. Those elbows in line, shoulders in line with the shoulders. Let's take as if you're imagining. Imagine that you're circling the outer edge of a quarter with your elbows here. And then change the direction of those circles. And then back to center. You're going to unwind. Stretch the arms up. Open them back to a T. We're going right to the other side. So now your left arm's coming on top. Wrap around. You're going to feel the difference right away. The shoulders in line with the elbows. Draw them back like the shoulder blades are trying to kiss on your back. And again, we're going to bring out those quarters and start circling them. Change the direction. Back to center, unwind, and just slide those hands back behind you, roll the shoulders back. Good. And eventually now we're going to just make our way all the way down onto our backs. Once you find your way onto your back, place the feet onto the mat. And we're just going to take one bridge pose here. If you have a block and you want to take a supported bridge, it feels really nice. If you're feeling a lot of stress lately, you can take that block or even just a couple of pillows and slide them under the hips here and then allow that back bend to be supported. Back bends are very activating, very energizing. When you support it, it makes it more relaxing. So it's like a passive way to energize, if that makes any sense. Otherwise, we're lifting up here. Some of you might roll the shoulders, interlock the fingers, press the arms down. And then release. If you are in that supported back bend, you are more than welcome to stay there. The rest of us are coming down, hugging the knees in, and lifting head into the knees. Head comes down, and then if you are in that supported variation, go ahead and come off the block or blanket. Hug your knees in. We're all going to move into a spinal twist, so bringing those arms out into a wide T. Let's let the knees fall over to the right. Maybe you lift your head now, turn and look towards your left, and bring the head back down. Head back to center, knees back to center. And then we'll float those knees right on over to the left. Being mindful of any cats or children or anything else that might be walking around, an iguana. And you can start to turn and look towards your right hand. And inhale, bringing it all back into center. Squeeze in, hug in, right? Most of us don't have a lot of availability to hug others in our lives. You might have a couple people, you might not have anyone right now. So hug yourself. Really, really take advantage of this. And when you're ready, you're going to release. Move it into your final pose, Shavasana, settling in, maybe covering yourself with a blanket, getting cozy. I'm going to leave you now to your own devices. Take your Shavasana for as long as it feels comfortable. Remember, it's an important pose. Take advantage of it. And in the meantime, take care. I will see you very soon. Namaste.